Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to this week's tips and tricks. I am attempting to show you some hooking on see-through fabric so that you can see what my hand is doing underneath the rug hooking hoop and hopefully get some tips that way. So hopefully when I come back I will have a video for you, but this is very experimental for me, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks! Okay everyone, I am back, and what I have set up here, this is actually a piece of tulle. It's see-through, that's why you can see the linen underneath, and I am going to practice rug hooking on it so maybe you can get a sense of what my hands are doing underneath the actual hooked piece. So I have my piece of wool here and my hook. Now my hook's going to stay on top, the hand with the wool is going to go underneath, so this is what it looks like when my hand's underneath. You can see the tulle there covering my hands. And I want to give you a sense of how I hold the wool. So this is generally how I start, with the wool between my index finger and my middle finger on my right hand, because I'm a lefty, and then my thumb kind of holding it taut here. The hook, like I said, stays on the top. And I'm going to go in, and what I'm doing in the tulle, this is a double thick layer of tulle. Tulle is not as stretchy as monk's cloth or linen, so I'm actually just making holes by punching my rug through instead of stretching holes like we normally do in rug hooking. So now that I have the wool between my fingers like that, I'm going to slip it over the hook and then let it get caught on that hook and bring it up. And then you can see I always have my hands on the wool strip, and my hand, in addition to holding the wool strip, it's touching the foundation material. So that's how I control the tension of my loop. So I'm gonna move up from where I started. Now, like I said, I'm always keeping my fingers on the wool. I can't go as close as I would in regular rug hooking to my previous hole because this is tulle. It's just gonna rip a giant hole if I do. So I'm gonna give myself some space, poke it through, kind of make myself a hole. Now this is where I sort of change my positioning, and I hold the wool as flat as I can. Okay, so you can see how I'm holding it flat. This is underneath here, my right hand, between my finger and my thumb, and this is when I slip it over the hook, hold it onto the hook, let the hook grab it, and bring it up. This is how I get nice flat loops. Okay, I'm gonna go in again. So you can see, it's almost like I flatten it out when I'm underneath. Slip it around the hook and bring my hook up. Now, if I was working on monk's cloth or linen, I'd be going much closer with my loops, but can't do that with this tulle, because like I said, it'll just rip a giant hole, which might actually happen. But you can see this is how I'm getting really flat loops that aren't twisted. Now let me bring this down a little bit. I'm gonna show you, if I can, how people get twisted loops. So when I poke this down, wind that hole, what a lot of people feel compelled to do is wrap the wool around the hook. And when you do that, your loop is no longer nice and flat. You can see it's twisted there. I'm gonna pull that out and show you the correct way again. Hook comes down, keep the wool nice and flat, and bring it up. So that's how I'm controlling it. Now, a couple weeks ago, I made a video about how to keep your loops straight. So if I change my direction from going up and down to left and right, I'm going to change the direction of my loop here. Now I'm always trying to keep it nice and flat. So you can see there's a little twist on the underside, but I'm twisting it in a way that keeps it nice and flat. Now you can see my fingers holding the wool strip, they're always sort of ahead of where, they're always holding the wool sort of straight ahead of where I'm moving. Just come down again, make that hole, lift it up. So you always sort of want to be ahead, holding that wool strip nice and flat underneath. This is really interesting for me. I've never really hooked and been able to see what I'm doing, even though it looks wonky because it's on tulle. This is the part we always do blind, right? So you can also see with the tool, you get a really nice sort of visual of how the loops are in there. So anyway, this was a little fun experiment. It looks weird. I don't know if I'll be switching to tulle anytime soon to hook on, but I thought this was a nice way to kind of demonstrate wool hooking, wool strip hooking, nice and straight and nice, keeping it nice and flat. So hopefully some of you out there find that helpful. Thanks so much.